Thanks for joining me, Slink. Let's talk about the recent craziness that's been going on Reddit. There's quite a few threads now. I thought it was just going to be a couple of them about all the Afromu hate. I haven't seen tons and tons of it. A lot of it was pretty tame, really. It was just kind of criticisms about 100 Thieves and a lot. I mean, not a lot of it, but some of it was even just about the team, not really Afromu in general. But it kind of blew up when Voyboy decided to defend, I guess, Afromu on here, and he says, woke up to another Afromu Reddit thread. Now, just saying that right away, I mean, you're basically admitting there's a reason for it. Like, there's a reason for some of the stuff. He's played pretty bad this season, and that team is really bad. That's the type of things that happen. Fans are very serious about this stuff, but every LCS player will have some highs and low moments. Yeah, we know that. That's how it works. Yeah, we get it. Like, you're not explaining anything new. This culture of community hyper-fixating on one specific player and basically bullying them, that's cute, when they're already down needs to stop. Now, using the word bullying in there, like, you're trying to trigger a bunch of people. Like, you're trying to turn this into, they're bullying him, like, all that stuff. You're a professional athlete, essentially, or you're a professional player. You're a celebrity, you're going to get criticism. This stuff's going to happen. And to my wider point with it, I haven't seen anything from Afromu. I don't know if this stuff even bothers him. I doubt it does, really, honestly. But then he goes on to say there's so much that the community will never see. This is where it gets me. Every team has dynamics, conversations, strategies, sacrifices. Okay. So does everybody in their daily lives. I mean, it's not... You're not reinventing the wheel here. I mean, people have been following professional sports forever, traditional sports, and they all know the stuff they do with that stuff, the sacrifices. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but it's not any worse than some guy who's working, 15-hour shifts down at the plant to put food on his family's table. He's making sacrifices too. And it's just a really disingenuous thing to say, like, these people don't know what sacrifice is. They're having conversations. Well, I hope they're having conversations. There's dynamics behind the scene that they don't know. Okay, there's dynamics people don't know that they don't understand behind the scenes stuff. And there's strategies. I'd be willing to debate that there's a lot of strategy going on behind some of these teams' closed doors during the season, if you want to get into that. But you can't just look at the final output of the LCS broadcast and make dramatic conclusions about individuals. Yes, you can, and people will continue to do it, and that's just how it is. That's just life. Again, I don't know if this bothers Afromu at all, but this is what fans do.
Yeah, he uses a lot of language that doesn't work on social media. I'm surprised it even blew up anyway, because normally stuff like this just gets laughed off. To say, people you can't just, yes, people are going to. That's not, you can't tell the Reddit community or the Twitter community how they need to react to something. That's just going to stoke the fire even
Yeah,
more.
exactly. Yeah. You're making it bigger.
The community hyper fixating. How was it hyper? He's supposed to be the best support in NA. He's not, but he's supposed to be. His team's bad, and he's playing terrible. That's not hyper fixating and stating facts. That's just the way it is.
Right.
And you can't just look at the final output LCS broadcast. Yeah, like you said, yes, you can. If I shoot 1,000 3-pointers every single day, and on Saturday I have a game and I go 1 for 10, I get criticized. That's how it should go. You don't get to say, well, he didn't make any in the game tonight, but he sure shot a lot during the week. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Right.
No one's going to stick up for you if the results aren't there. The results aren't there for Afromu right now. He's supposed to be the shot caller. He's the, golden child. There's still tons of people on that Reddit and the Twitter saying he's still the best support in NA. I mean, they're delusional, but they're saying it. So,
yeah, Core JJ's here now, fellas.
Bother him, but,
yeah, it probably doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it. I mean, maybe it does bother Afromu, but again, every player is going to be different. Every personality is going to be different. Every streamer, every professional athlete, they're all going to be different. Some people take criticism to heart. Some people they don't even know what's going on. We've heard tons of stories about guys in the middle of a game, you know what it was like playing in an arena in college basketball, and know what it was like playing baseball. And, you don't hear some people, just the world shuts down while you're in the middle of those games while you're playing. But as far as like criticism goes and stuff, I mean, some people it bothers, some people it doesn't. Some people can read it and just be like, whatever. Or some people use it to fuel their, game. Yeah, there's a lot of pros who are like that. They love the hate. They love the criticism and stuff. They take it to another level. It fuels them. But to say like, that fans aren't going to say that stuff. First of all, yes, they will say that stuff, whether you want them to or not. But second of all, none of this is possible without the fans. None of it. So, I mean, I'm not saying you have to agree with them. I'm not saying you have to even listen or read to any of it. But as far as their, right to get on there and criticize their players and their organizations that they're fans of, 100% they have the right to do that. The only reason there's a league is because of them. If there's no fans, there's no league. If there's no fans, there's no game. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't get sponsors, you don't get anything. You don't get to do what you're doing right now, and he should know better. He's a streamer. If he doesn't have people watching his stream, then he doesn't get to do that for a living. It's just how it is. But you're going to get criticism. People invest a lot of time and a lot of effort, and they're an extension of, the people that don't get to play there. There's a reason why people want to watch people play sports, gaming at a high level, because they usually can't do it themselves. But it's competition, and they get to root for somebody, and they get to go through the highs and lows with those people, and it's pretty standard for someone to be, not everyone's vocal about it, but their emotions live and die by those wins and losses.
Yeah, I think the big point here is that it's a social media point. It's Reddit. It's not part of Aframu's job. He's not required to wake up, read every Reddit post about him, and then have to deal with it. Like this whole thing about bullying. If Aframu doesn't want to log into Reddit, he don't have to log into Reddit, and he will never have known anyone said anything bad about him. So who cares?
Right.
If it was an interview or something after a match where he got beat up on, okay, I could understand that. And
sure.
There's people pointing out that, after the matches, High has pointed out what he's done wrong in some team fights. That's High's job. That's his damn job to point out how you misplayed team fights, and he would know. He's been there and done that. So that doesn't count either. This is a social media. If someone's talking shit about me right now on Instagram, I don't even know it because I don't have Instagram. So I don't need anybody to be like, hey man, you're just getting dogged on Instagram right now. I don't care. I don't read it. White doesn't need to point out that we need to be nicer to Aframu in his downtime. Now, I agree with him to an extent that, the type of hatred and throwing, guys play bad. It happens in every sport. He's having a bad split, He doesn't need to get dogged on. He doesn't need the things being said about him that are getting said. But to say you can't do that is just going to make it worse, because that's all internet trolls like to do. And he's got to know that. I don't know what the point of his tweet was. He probably just got a little emotional about it. And got sensitive and went off on it. But you need to know that, A, you're just going to fan the fires and make it worse. And B, you're wrong. Like, you're not going to get Reddit to calm down. Have you been through Reddit lately? Like, Reddit doesn't give a shit about your feelings.
No, they don't.
What you're doing in life or who you are. All it wants is upvotes and some laughs and a gold star. Or that's all they care about. What do they have to say to get it? So I'm not going to change the mentality of Reddit just because you're offending an established player in the LCS. It's not going to happen.
Right. And I think that the Reddit social media thing you brought up is the perfect example. This might have been gaining a little bit of traction, some people talking about it, some threads popping up about how bad he's been playing and the team's been playing. But Voyboy's the one who dropped the gas. He's the one who brought the gas can to the pitching mound. Yeah, he blew it up. Because this is how people react. There might be 400 comments that are really nice about Aframu and then one really mean one, and that's the one that gets put up at the top. We were talking today. Frankie put up that really nice thing about, hey, thanks for having me. I had a great time, and she did. She did a good job over in the LEC. And the first 3 comments, first 2 are like, she did a great job. It was, the next one was like, it was awesome. Hope she comes back. And the third one was, she sucked gorilla ass. Like, I mean, does he really believe that? I have no idea. He just typing that. Like, that's just what people do. And if you take that stuff to heart, I'm not saying Frankie does. I don't think she cares about that stuff. But if you're right, but if Voyboy jumped on the bandwagon and was like, you can't say this stuff to her and tweeted stuff like that out, then you just blew up the comment that no one was paying attention to and downvoting anyways. So, I mean, it's just you blew it up yourself. You made it worse for the guy you were trying to defend, honestly, like you said. But that's what it comes down to. You were talking about, you can practice all you want. You can strategize all you want. You can talk about how hard you've been working, all the sacrifices you've been making to all that stuff. If you don't win, nobody cares at all. No one cares. If you don't play better, then no one cares. Like I said, the greatest the greatest thing I've ever heard a manager tell someone is tell a group of players who were, upset about something, whatever was going on. They were upset about it. All he said to them, period. He just came in and said, "Don't like it? Play better."
Mm-hmm.
Period. It's the most simple and truthful. It's right down there with Korean advice. Don't like losing, then win. That's what he said. You don't like the minor leagues? You don't like minor league baseball? Then play better. You won't be here long. You'll be in the big leagues making a bunch of money. And that's just how it's going to go. You have to accept criticism where it comes. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to pay any mind to it. You can use it to fuel yourself. You can ignore it. You can let it bother you. Some people can't control that stuff. It just bothers them, and that's how it goes. But first of all, you built a super team. All right, if you're 100 Thieves as an organization, you tried to build a super team. You brought in a well-known coach. Your support is one of the most well-known players in North American history. Him and Double Lift, and they used to play together. He was very well known before Soligo took over there, and it wasn't super well known. But then you brought in, you already had Someday, and then you brought in Bang, who might not be the best AD carry of all time, but he's got 2 world championships, and he's considered one of the best AD carries of all time, and it was a huge get. There was a lot of hype behind them, and then you come in, and that's how you're going to play. People are going to criticize you. That's just how it goes. I mean, you can't be that big of an organization and not expect criticism.
Yeah, and you got to realize this is people who are attaching themselves to Afromu because he is, has widely considered the best NA support, and when he plays like shit, it makes NA look bad. And you grow attached to the representatives of your region. When Double Lift gets on the international stage, if he gets bopped, we all feel bad.
Of course,
it just makes NA look worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're gonna flame at Double Lift, like, what do you went 0-5? What are you doing? You're making us look like shit. And everyone thinks NA is even worse than it is, and that's what's happening with Afromu. He's supposed to be for that support role, the guy that you could send internationally and he could hold his own.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaky or Double Lift, give or take, as the AD carry you could send internationally and hold their own. Jensen, now maybe Licorice with what he's kind of doing, he looks pretty good. Every lane we have that maybe one. That's how sad NA really is. You have one or two
true.
maybe that could compete, and now one of the ones we thought that could compete is not even doing well in his own league. Now we brought in some better supports to kind of mess him up, but he's just playing bad, and that's where it hurts people. It hurts you when the person you're attached to, whether it be your college sport or your pro sport,
mm-hmm.
when they play bad, and you're gonna say shit about it because now you look bad for cheering for him. And so many people have supported Afromu throughout his career and what he's done. For him to play like this, they're gonna turn on you. They're always gonna turn on you because now they look like idiots for thinking you're as good as you were when, maybe he still is good. He's just playing bad. I still think, the meta of this game is dicking with him too.
I agree.
I think if a meta shift were to happen, it would help him out because this just isn't. I don't know why, because the champions he likes to play are still really relevant, but there's just something different about the way the game's played this year, this split, this season from the last 2. He just hasn't adapted well, and it's a little communication with Bang, but you shouldn't get a better AD carry and then perform worse. So there's something else going on, and we might not ever know unless maybe the team splits up and someone comes out and says, here's what was happening, here's why we sucked, because that's about all you're going to get.
Yeah, and it when you look at something like that, he's individually not playing great, but not everyone on that team is playing great. It's hard to look great individually when your whole team's not playing well. I mean, Someday's tried his damnedest to do it, but that's where one of those things. A lot of these posts being the defensives, like, you don't know what's going on here. You don't know what it's like. You don't know blah 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 blah. Well, I do. I mean, it might be in a different discipline, but it might be in a different sport. But I mean, it's the same thing at the end of the day. When you see performances like that, you see all this, everyone's disconnected during the game. The communication looks bad. People don't know what they're doing. There's bad individual plays. A lot of that, 99% of the time, the first thing you're going to look at is that's coaching. That's preparation. That's coaching. That's advanced scouting. Whatever you want to call it. It's not. You're not new. I mean, you didn't make up this stuff. I mean, a lot of these posts that are defending this, saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you don't know what's going on, really don't understand that you're not any different than a traditional sport. You're not any different than a traditional competitive environment. It's like telling us, a longtime Counter-Strike player or Counter-Strike organization that they don't know what they're talking about because it's League of Legends behind the scenes. Of course they do. They've been doing this a lot longer than you've been doing it, and it's not any different there. And then, the double lift thing came up. The league sub slowly turned into a majority of people shitting on teams, players, regions, and calling others delusional, blind fanboys. Basically, if you don't have a highly critical opinion, you're not getting upvotes. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't. Oh well, big deal. Welcome to the world of entertainment. I mean, welcome to traditional sports, whatever you wanted to avoid that you said you're not, but you are because you have teams owned by professional organizations. This is what happens. This is how it goes. Deal with it. I don't understand Gafford's reply to it. Shit on me too, Peter. I don't know what the context of that is, but for Double Lift to say that stuff. I mean, does any professional player shit on other players more than Double Lift? Honestly?
None that I can think of off the top of my head.
I mean, I like it. That's what gets him going. That's what motivates him. There's historically in everything we've watched, there's been plenty of shit talkers, but I mean, you don't see shit talkers like that. I mean, you'd never see Randy Moss back in the day go and defend somebody for someone talking shit to him. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it goes. You can't hang. But if you don't want to deal with it, don't deal with it. I mean, you can avoid it. It's very easy. I don't understand that stuff. That's just how it goes. You're not telling us anything new there, buddy.
No, and they gotta, as this gets bigger, they're gonna start realizing that some people that are getting listened to aren't going to be, Riot employees that keep it all, above the cuff.
Right.
Right now there isn't a lot of outside, shows. There isn't a sports center done by an ESPN that has
not
nothing
allowed
to do with the NFL. Yeah, exactly. But there will be. It'll come up, and
if it gets big enough.
It'll be people just doing shows that just get a lot of views, not supported by Riot, that are gonna say shit. I mean, that's life. If you've watched anything on ESPN, all their shows, all their radio hosts are just shock jocks that say unrealistic things that they don't believe to try and get reaction. Stephen A. Smith, like you brought up earlier, he doesn't actually believe 90% of the shit he says. I guarantee it. But if he goes out there and says what everyone else says, no one's going to listen to him. They tune into him because he's the one who's going to say that he thinks Brett Favre is the greatest quarterback of all time, not Tom Brady, not not Peyton Manning. He's
Montana.
On Brett Favre. He don't believe that, but he'll say that so that people will watch, and he does it with every sport, whether he knows it or not. You're going to find more of that in League as more outside entities start doing shows and start being critical of the League. They're not going to have near the information because everyone, from here on out, anyone that gets involved in this industry is 9 years behind. They're not going to have the history. They're not going to take the time to go back and look it up. They're just going to come in from the outside. This is the new hot thing. We're going to comment on it, and they're going to need they're going to need a Stephen A. Smith for this. They're going to need a Skip Bayless, God forbid, for League of Legends. And it's gonna happen.
I can't handle that.
But you're not going to be able to get on Reddit and say, hey, this League of Legends Skip Bayless can't be saying this about our players. No, he's gonna.
He's gonna
because he's gonna get views and he's gonna become popular for it. So, toughen up, Buttercup, because it's gonna get worse if you don't start playing better. And I don't care to hate on him. I like Aftermoon just fine, but I'm not gonna defend his play by any means. He's playing like crap, and you don't hear about it.
And that's one of the things I think that is the most frustrating about this for a lot of people is it immediately goes to Voyboy's choice of words, bullying and hate, right? It's not hate. A lot of, some of it's ridiculous, but there's always those outliers. It doesn't matter. A lot of it's just criticism because people are trying to vent. Like you said, they're watching their favorite players, their favorite teams, and they want them to win. It's they're invested in, and that's what you want. That if you don't have that, you don't have a league. That's the type of stuff you want, and that's what comes with it. But to use words like bullying and hate, that's now you're exacerbating the situation. You're trying to attach much more severity to it. Hate's a very strong word. That's kind of ridiculous to attach that word to it. And then bullying is, that's obviously in the the national agenda right now. Talking about bullying and stuff like that. This isn't bullying. Afromu can avoid a lot of this stuff. And again, I don't even know if Afromu cares about any of this stuff. But to start using those words, you're right. It's going to get much worse. They think this is tame compared to, I mean, go on an NFL Reddit forum. Go on MLB Reddit forum. Go shoot.
BPL, follow
Right,
the
yeah.
soccer league over in England.
Right.
Good on their Twitter. Any team. Pick any top 5 team in the league and follow their Twitter page.
Oh,
They
man.
hate every player on the team.
Right,
Even if they're
right.
winning, they want to get rid of all of them.
Fire everybody.
Fire
Right.
everybody. And the
Right.
coach and the owner should sell them. I mean, it's just...
I mean, look at the Patriots, right?
People don't know who owns these teams, or they'd be getting laced too. But we don't really know who they are so far. But you just wait; it's gonna happen.
Right. It is too. We know the Golden State Warriors have with the Guardians and Clutch Gaming with the Rockets and Echo Fox with. I mean, there's a whole trail of that stuff with IMG Sports and the Yankees and whatnot. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I mean, yeah, you're right, and that's what it is. I mean, just look at the Patriots; they win all the damn time, and they're the most hated team in North America in professional sports by far, and they're winning all the time. And you think they don't? Bill Belichick should get zero criticism for how much he wins and what he's done as a head coach, and he gets criticism constantly. That's just how it goes. It's just the world. I mean, grow up's not a good word for it, I guess, but a lot of these guys are really young. They're not used to stuff like this. They don't have people above them either that have gone through stuff like this to sit there and put an arm around their shoulder and be like, dude, it's just part of the game, man. It's just how it goes. You want to make money playing this game, then this is what's going to happen. You got to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad. It's just, if you don't do your due diligence and you don't work hard and you don't do this stuff, then no one's going to pay attention to you. It's like that overused line you hear in professional sports all the time. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, yada, yada, yada. But it's, it's the truth. You got to work hard at this stuff.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if that's necessarily.
No, right. I just,
It's true in some
it's that line, it's that mentality.
I don't know. It's like you say, it's gonna continue to get worse before it gets better, and they're just. The problem I have is they should be used to it. I mean, they've been streaming for years. Boy's been a streamer since league. So I don't know how many seasons in the league. Like he knows, he knows damn well what happens.
Right.
They should be used to internet toxicity and trolls more than anybody. So to act like they're the ones offended by it, I don't understand that. That's like you say, maybe he just wants people to watch his stream. Maybe a bunch of people are gonna flood the Voyboy stream just to vent at him for this, and if it increases the viewers on his stream by 200 people, well, that's good for him.
Yeah,
so
it's a good point.
You don't know people's motivations. I mean, maybe he's down on viewership and his stream's getting a little boring. He's gonna throw some lines out and see if he catches anything. If people come in and turn his chat room into a war over Afromu, that's just all the better for Voyboy. He don't care. He's sitting there playing League of Legends. He don't give a shit what they're talking about, as long as they're subscribing to his channel or donating, or whatever. So there's all kinds of motivations there, but they know, they're playing the most toxic game ever. There's arguments that it might be Counter-Strike. I disagree.
I disagree 100%.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure League is the most toxic game on the internet to play. It is that I've played, and I'm old, so I mean it's
right.
They are used to this. I don't even think I can be offended anymore in real life after playing League for the last 5 years. I don't think I can, because anything someone says, like, that's almost as bad as this thing a support said to me, season 7 when I inted under the tower. He was worse. So, okay, you're going to be used to it. For him to get all butthurt about this just seems kind of fake. Like,
oh, it seems 100%
what are you gonna gain?
contrived.
You're gonna get a little 100 Thieves sponsorship there, Voyboy, or something for coming to defense Afromu. I doubt it, but whatever. It doesn't seem that genuine. Maybe he's good friends with him. I don't.
They're friends. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And Voyboy's been known as, kind of one of the nice guys in League, right? He's never flaming or raging and stuff like that. And that's fine. But, that again that's a lack of experience right there, right? That's a lack of life experience going, I'm going to defend him right now, and enough people are going to listen to me. No, you're gonna stoke the flames. You just brought your gas can to the mound. You lit the place on fire, and now everybody's involved in it. Now you got St. Vicious involved. You got Double Lift involved. You got Gafford involved. You're gonna get the teams involved. And the funniest part about all of it is the guy this all started with, and the team that this all started with, isn't involved at all with it. And that's where you missed the point. You should have been able to look at that tweet probably and go, I don't know. If I do this, it's going to make this situation worse. If it gets worse, maybe I can say something. But you got to, you brought it down on your head. It's the number one thing on it's the top of the Reddit right now. Voyboy's response, or near the top of the Reddit. And that's what happens. You brought more people to the conversation that I didn't know about it until Voyboy did it. I didn't think Afremu was getting an undue amount of hate or any of that stuff. Because, again, I'm not going to use that word either. But, I mean, the criticism is more, like you said, with high, and at the end of the day, no one cares. No one cares how hard you worked unless you win. Like you said, you can practice all you want, but if you don't do it in the game, that's where the criticism is going to come from. And I'll stand by the statement, and, I'll just end it with that. I'll stand by the statement when one of the greatest managers I ever worked for said, you don't like it, play better.